Oh, nearly forgot to add myself. Big up, big up. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Casually Chelsea Call-In Show. I am your host, MarshallDBX. As you can see, I am by myself. It's fine. This is how we roll sometimes. And 15 minutes from now, you guys will be coming in with your call-ins and asking your questions and giving your opinions, or even if you want, challenging mine. But big up to every single one of you. Smash up the like button if you haven't done so already. Subscribe to the channel if you are new here. Be sure to check out the links in the description below for more content from other content creators you see over here on the panel from time to time, as well as myself. Leave a comment down below. Let us know your thoughts on everything we're going to speak about today. And last but not least, check out the memberships. There's 4 different tiers starting at 99p, all of which help out the channel. Keep the lights on pretty much. But big up to every single one of you guys. I appreciate you guys being here. Big up, big up, big up, big up. Okay, so as you guys can see from the title, transfer news is up and running. The transfer window is open. We are in day 4 of the transfer window, and a lot has happened. So to start things off, ladies and gents, we had the announcement of Liam Delap. Now, I wasn't planning to put on anything in the, to show any tweets or anything like that. But you know what? Considering it's just me today, up until we get, some people coming onto the channel, I figured I might as well show this in the background while I'll discuss it. But yeah, we'll start off with Liam Delap, EKETIKE, and then we'll go into Maignan, which everyone's losing their fucking minds over. Okay. So let's put this up here to start things off and have this in the background. But yeah, essentially, Mr. Liam Delap announced his, got announced by Chelsea today, which is nice to see. It's actually a pretty cool promotional announcement. Here we go. But yeah, Liam Delap, officially a Chelsea player now. And if you guys don't know my opinion on Liam Delap, I do like him. I think for the price that we're getting at him at, he's a pretty good bargain deal. Is he the one that's going to take us to win the league? I don't think so. I don't think he's there yet. Could he potentially? Sure. Do I think he could potentially? Yeah, I think he can mold into a really good player. Is his level world class? That I don't know. But from what I've seen of Liam Delap, he's got great ball striking ability. He can hold up the ball really well, which is something we like Jackson doing, which helps with our attacks and such. It seems to be pretty good about controlling the ball. Can be a little bit deceiving on the ball as well. Yeah, I mean, the important part is he can score goals, and he's got good shooting technique, which is something Jackson lacks. Something that I've seen in the past, and just to kind of give you guys an idea of why I'm not really bothered by this transfer like other people are, is because I remember watching Duran last season, and I remember I watched a brief game, if you guys remember, and if you know, you know, his Liverpool cameo. He came on, he played against Liverpool. I think caused Liverpool to drop points because he was involved with one of the goals, or if not the goal that drew the game and pretty much essentially aided into knocking Liverpool out of the title race. But I remember watching Duran and seeing the technique. He did score twice. Seeing the technique he had and thinking like, oh crap, this kid has something about him. And at the time, guys, I didn't rate him. I didn't watch him before. You know, he wasn't on my radar, and I was very much like you guys, kind of just like, I don't know about 40 million for this kid. And then when you see him strike the ball from a striker, by the way, hence the name striker, it was impressive. And that is a feat that, as a striker, you should have the ability to shoot the goddamn ball, which Jackson, he can shoot the ball, but is he as consistent as someone who has better technique like a Duran or a Delap in this instance? No. And that being said, you saw what happened with Duran. Listen, if you can shoot a ball and if you can shoot it accurate, you can score goals. And that is something that maybe some people don't think about. It seems really simple, but yeah, that's kind of how it works. So Liam Delap, I've seen him strike a ball. He strikes a ball very cleanly. He knows the technique. He knows how to strike a ball, so he can score you goals. Now, I know people have doubts about, but he hasn't played against a low block. He plays against open teams. Listen, we don't always play against low block teams. I understand the hesitation with that, but most strikers struggle against low block teams. Erling Haaland struggles against low block teams. It happens. You know, time will tell. We will see what happens when this guy comes up against low blocks. Also, the heading ability, not sure if it's there. I haven't seen many headed goals from him, if any. So that's definitely a department that we still probably need to work on. But regardless, from what I've seen of him, listen, if I learned something about Duran, is not to underestimate when a striker has good technique. He's got good technique. I think he will cook for us. Will he get 15 plus goals? I think he could get about 15. He could get 15 plus. I wouldn't be surprised if he did. I'm not expecting him to put up like Isak numbers, but regardless, he is a good player. And time will tell. Will he take us like a title race? Like I said, I don't know. That is something that time will tell. I don't think he will take us to the next level, but he definitely helps bolster the bench, and we will definitely see him in the Club World Cup. Oliver, how you doing, man? Welcome to the stream, brother. Your thoughts, I guess, on Liam Delap, if you're there, and the signing, £30 million for 19-year-old Liam Delap, pretty much 11 goals in the Premier League. Actually, maybe even 12 in the Premier League.
I think it's 12, yeah. No, the fee is very good. I mean, for the output that we saw last season,
12.
Can't have any complaints with the fee.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the fee is great. We took advantage of that relegation clause before any other club could.
Yeah,
that's nice. One of my concerns with him, I mean, I think he's a decent signing. It's not a major level raiser for me. Like maybe he can develop into that, but off the bat, I need to see it to believe it. One of my biggest concerns with him is actually his disciplinary record. I don't know if you know a lot about that.
Delap's disciplinary record?
He got 12 yellow cards last season.
Okay. I mean,
that
could be something
the nature of his game. He's very physical. He often gets these by like shoving players and stuff like that. You need to tone that down. You need to have a calmer side to your game so that you can avoid suspensions and stuff like that. And especially at a club like Chelsea where everything's going to be magnified. You just have to really get on top of that, I think.
Yeah, I think that's something we can. The kits do look nice, by the way, people. But I think that is something we can definitely, get out of him. And also you got to take into consideration like the team he's in. I'm sure it's one of those like when you get possession, when you get the ball, he's fighting for his life to keep it, so he's doing anything he can. But I have seen some of his highlights, and he's very, very physical, which is kind of something we need in the Prem, man. We need someone. Yeah, go ahead.
Marshall, I'd describe him. He's almost like a more powerful Nicholas Jackson. Like he shoots the ball with more
I could see
power.
that.
He can hold it up better, and he has he kind of has Jackson's dribbling. Like maybe it's not as clean all the time,
Yeah.
but he can definitely sort his feet out and glide past players. He can pass the ball as well. Like I just see more of a physical Jackson, and maybe according to the stats, he is a better finisher from the chances he does get as well. So there is that in his favor.
That's why for me, the way I look at it is that, okay, you got 12 goals in Ipswich. I'm very curious to see how many goals you can get when a team actually creates multiple chances for you. And I don't have any doubt that, we will be able to create chances for him. But, I understand where people are coming from with the, but he doesn't play low blocks. And sure, we'll see. Time will tell how that plays out against low blocks. I mean, a lot of people are going to struggle against low blocks. Even Osimhen would struggle against low blocks. So, yeah, I'm pretty content with the signing, especially for the price that we paid for him. 30 mil is an absolute bargain, especially when you had multiple teams going after him. United was going after him. Everton were going after him. Newcastle were going after him as a backup to Isak. Yeah, there were clubs going after this guy. And that's something that should tell you a little bit to give you... Not Oliver necessarily, but just you guys listening. I think that's something that should give you a little bit of solace in terms of, did we get the right person? If multiple people are going for him, that's probably a good sign. And it's probably a red flag if not enough or any clubs aren't going for a certain target. So that's usually not always the case, but that's how I like to look at these things, especially when it comes to an unknown player, an unknown entity, as well as Liam Delap. I wouldn't say he's unknown, but I know a lot. Unless there's an Ipswich fan in the chat right now, I doubt a lot of you guys in chat, if not none of you guys in chat, have actually watched multiple Ipswich games.
This is really his breakout season. Like he's had loans in the Championship as well, and he actually wasn't that impressive in the Championship. I believe he was. Did he go to Stoke and Hull City? I believe, and he wasn't. This is his best season, and that includes the Championship. So he's put up better numbers in a better league. So this is like a real this is where people are starting to take notice for sure.
Yeah, do we actually speaking of, I would like to look into this because I didn't get a chance to do it before. Since we're on the topic of Liam Delap, let's look at his transfer market. Let's see what clubs he's played for and what numbers he's put up previously. Obviously, we don't want to be GNA merchants here. Obviously, there's more to footballers than just the goals and assists. Quote that if you want. I don't care. There is more to footballers than goals and assists. Kovacic. Enzo Fernandez. Okay.
So go stats by club maybe. Or
that's by club. I'm trying to...
Details.
Oh, here we go. I kind of... all seasons. Let's go by season. Right?
Okay.
So we'll go last season. I guess last season he was playing for Ipswich. 8-2. Okay. 8-2.
No, this is Hull City. This is...
Yeah.
So this is Poch's season, basically.
Okay. This was for Hull City. Then... we go to the season before that. This is when he was 20.
This is at Stoke. Oh, was he? He was also at who's that? Wait, Championship.
So Premier League champion. Okay, so I guess he was in the City Academy.
Yeah, that's why that's one of the reasons we got him, because there's we love to buy those.
Okay, I mean he's improving season after season. I can see why people are also like a little bit timid about this one because they're like, oh, he's not scoring big numbers, but 4 to 8 the following season. Now he scored 12. The goal tallies is starting to increase, and he's going into tougher competition. So, I understand the hesitation by some people, but yeah, okay. I can see the trajectory. I can see why they went for him. Outside of the profile as well, when you look at just the stats. But no, I mean, let's see what he's got when it comes time for the Club World Cup. And, if he plays, which I'm assuming he's going to play a few minutes here and there in the Club World Cup, we'll see. We will see. Okay, so the other player I wanted to bring up too was Ekitike. So last we know about Ekitike, I'll see if I can find a tweet. Again, I wasn't really prepared to like do a Casually FC style or Casually Chelsea style show, bringing up tweets and stuff, but I'll pull up the latest tweet and we can go over that one. Okay, this is pretty much what I was looking for. All right, let's go over this one. In regards to Ekitike, Chelsea are currently working on a verbal agreement with Hugo Ekitike. There are already initial contacts with Eintracht Frankfurt, who are still demanding £84 million. It remains open whether Chelsea and Eintracht will reach an agreement. So I'm pretty sure the player is going to be inclined to join. I don't think we'll have hesitations getting the player to agree. We are in competition with Liverpool for this player. However, I don't know. For me, the transfer price on this one is pretty steep. It is something that kind of veers me away from that one. We'll read this tweet later. And we don't even know if it's true. We'll see. Okay. I need to stop reading chat because I'm getting distracted. But anyways, Ekitike, I think he's a good player. I really think he's a good player. I don't know if he's another one that's going to raise the level or get us to compete next season. I think he's going to be very, very stiff competition. He stylistically plays very similarly to Jackson in terms of like he likes to dribble with the ball and he's almost like a winger in a sense. So he could, I think based off what I've seen and based off what we've seen here chat with him in a previous video is I can see him being deputized in the wing position because of his dribbling ability. Does he have a cross on him? Who knows? But he can definitely beat a man. He can definitely retain the ball, keep the ball. He's got an elegance to him that I like. So, yeah, I mean, for the price, though, I don't know. That's the part that I feel like if Chelsea can negotiate a lower price, maybe 50, if that. I don't know. This guy is a pretty young talent. He's got talent. He's got ability, but I don't know if the goals tally is really there for him. Let me look it up real quick. Hugo Ekitike. He did come from PSG. 15 goals, 8 assists in 33 matches. In Bundesliga, I know people have been burned before. Not necessarily that Bundesliga players come to the Champions League. Wow, come to the Premier League and flop, but we just have a tendency to pick the wrong ones under previous ownerships. I mean, 22 goals in all competitions, 12 assists, 48 games played. I'll pull this up for you guys over on here as well. I mean, again, for the price, and Chelsea have came out and said that that's the stumbling block is the price. They don't want to pay the price, which I get it. I don't know if some of you guys in chat would actually pay that, but 22 years old, 84 million pounds, 22 goals in all competitions. Oliver, I don't know how you feel about this one.
Absolutely not. No, I mean, it's a decent return, but I'm going to do what you say with Gyökeres. There's just too much history with this particular league. Outside of Manchester City, because they somehow seem to get it right all the time. Gundogan, De Bruyne, Haaland, and now Marmoush. They're the only ones that can do it. Everyone else, we just sent back an ex-Bundesliga sensation, Jadon Sancho. We sent him back to Manchester United because he can't cut it in the Premier League. Let's be real here. And Ekitike, I mean, that fee, no matter how you want to spin it, his attributes and whatever, that fee is way too much. We can do better than that. There are players in the Premier League that we can probably get a more of a guarantee.
I mean, I don't mind the goals tally. Like the goals tally, it might not be ginormous, and I'm sorry guys, it's small. I'm sorry, you can't probably see that. It's not a bad goal return. It's the fee that gets me. For that much, like, it's assumed that you're probably, the reason he's being priced out is probably because of the potential. But yeah, other than that, like, I don't know, chat. I mean, with this one, it's for the price. I feel like I'd rather just keep Jackson. And I know people are not going to like that, but I'd rather just keep Jackson. I know we don't like him right now. I know we're mad at him because of what happened last in Newcastle and just overall his season. But we all understand if you take away that second half of the season and you saw what he was able to do in the first half of the season, right up until December, you know there's a good player there. He went through bad form. I don't know what else got in the way, if it's a mental thing or whatever. There is a good player there that we could probably just hold on to for another season, see if we can see what the striker market looks like next season. If we can't, sell or get rid of him. And it doesn't look like they're going to sell him, to be honest. All this talk about Ahmed saying like, oh, sell this, sell that. The reports are coming out that there's been like absolutely no rumblings that they're really interested in selling him. They want to keep him. They like him. And not even that, but also, I mean, it's got to be a good offer. It's got to be a good offer. I'm not taking anything less than 50 million for Jackson. I'm sorry. With how shitty the striker market is, and we know that Jackson can potentially get you. He got 14 goals without penalties in the Premier League. If you were to go to another league, I'm sure he'll bang on. So it's one of those instances of like, yeah, I don't think getting Ekitike, especially when we have a Jackson, is really worth it. I mean, I'd rather just stick with Jackson at that point. I don't know if you guys are gonna agree or whatever. I don't know if you agree, Oliver, but yeah, for that price.
I'd just rather get someone else. Like, I'm happy to sell Jackson, but I'd rather not get Ekitike or keep Jackson. I'd rather just get someone else. So Delap +1, I guess.
I mean, the only other person I'd be willing to entertain is probably Jonathan David. I don't know. You don't want Sesko.
I'd go for John-Philippe Mateta.
No, okay, fair enough. But how old is he? I don't think he's gonna fit the mold, is he? Mateta. By the way, ladies and gents, he's 27. I mean, we can dream, like, and then when it doesn't happen, we can't get upset about it. Like, for as much as I want to be able to fly.
Are we believing Mike Maignan, who's 29? Are we believing that link? You see what I mean, right?
I think with a goalkeeper, it's a little different because of their prime years. God. You know that, though.
The thing is, though, Marshall, over the last 3 years, they've applied the same age limits to the goalkeeping department as they have to the rest of the squad. I don't think it's variable or it's like specific to one.
I mean, how old is Robert Sanchez, bro?
He was like 25. I think he was 25 when we signed him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but let me look at Mateta contract. Let's look at this. Initially a 5-year deal signed in 2021. Okay. So he's got 1 year left on his contract. Essentially. Oh, wait. Crystal Palace exercised his option extending his contract to 2027. There could be something there. Yeah, I don't know. But ladies and gents, the link is in the chat if you want to come in and join, have your say, chat your shit, all that fun stuff. Let me actually pin it for you guys. I put it. Oh, here we go. I'll pin it so that you guys can see it at the top and join in and have a discussion. Go ahead, Oliver. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Yeah, that's all right. We'd have the ability to, Crystal Palace have the Europa League qualification, and obviously we're in the superior competition, being in the Champions League, so we have that pull over them. Plus, like, it would even be a definite thing if, I don't know, have you seen the news about Crystal Palace and the Europa League?
No.
So basically, they have someone that owns their club also owns part of, I think, Lyon in France.
Okay.
And they're both in the Europa League, so it's the multi-club ownership conflict thing. And because if they find a problem with that, because Lyon finished higher in League 1 than Crystal Palace finished in the Premier League, then Crystal Palace would lose their Europa League place if that were to go through.
Wow.
So there's a chance that they lose out, and that would mean Forest get the Europa League place, and then Brighton get the Conference League place. So if all goes to plan, Mateta would have no European football. At that point, it'd be a no-brainer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I could see it happening. It could. But I don't know.
I can't see it happening. I just want it. That's just something it's like a pipe dream of mine.
Like, I could see it being like a possibility because opportunistic signing, right? Like, if he was on 5 years, I'd be like, Oliver, come on now. Like, we're not, that's not going to happen ever. But because he's got a year.
He's got 2 years. So, he said 2027.
Well, the start of next season, it's a year,
Yeah.
Is it? Yeah, it would be a year.
You said the extension was till 2027, so
yeah. So I do
2 years from now.
I do feel that there's a potential that it could happen, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I feel like you have Jonathan David out there on a free. Like, why not? Why not just give it a shot? If you're gonna, because here's the way I look at it too. Hugo Ekitike and Liam Delap, they're not the ones that are gonna help you challenge for the league, right? We kind of know that. I don't see Jonathan David being that way either. So if you're gonna get strikers that aren't gonna help you challenge for the league or at least win the Prem, then he should be in that category too. We should have approached him as well. And I don't mind Jonathan David. I think he is a decent player. I think he's of a similar ilk to whatchamacallit, Jackson. So, how do you feel about Jonathan David? Not interested at all?
I hadn't even thought about it because wasn't he linked to Napoli? Has that gained any traction recently?
Not that I'm aware of. I haven't seen much of it.
I don't think he's the profile we need, but he's a good finisher and he can play a few. I think he can play 10. I think he's played 10 for Canada, so he's got a bit of versatility to him too. I just think as a striker, we're looking more in the mold of someone that can dominate the box, and he's not that.
I don't know about this one, Gabriel. I don't know if I do Jamie Vardy. I also think he's pretty much retired. But going back to this
God, what?
Yeah, no thank you.
He retired. He didn't just leave Leicester. I think he retired. Or am I wrong on that?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he retired. If he didn't retire, he's going to retire. I think he wanted to retire at an exact amount of goals. I think it was 200 goals. And I think he wanted to stop playing after that. Like, he was asked to be benched.
Yeah, he got his 200th goal at Leicester.
Yeah, something like that. So it was a weird reason, but it is what it is. But yeah,
well, we're not doing a Wojtek Szczesny this time, man.
Mm-hmm. It absolutely makes no sense to even go for Ekitike, who is valued at 100 million euros, when Gyökeres is going for 60 million euro with low wages. These SCs are brain dead morons. I'm pretty sure it's not low wages. That's the problem. And the thing is, Othrarv, you have to take into consideration what I said earlier. Why is it that no one else is going in for him? Like, we're not hearing mumblings or rumblings about even Arsenal to an extent. I haven't heard much about the Gyökeres move. Like, there's nothing happening outside of maybe Arsenal.
I think they'd lock on Sesko.
That should tell you. They'd rather get Sesko. That should tell you something. So if you think our SDs are brain dead morons, and you probably think all the SDs are brain dead morons for not getting him. I mean, time will tell. We might have egg on our face in terms of what we think about him and how he performs in whatever league he goes to. But bro, Samuel Meridian went to that league and banged, and he struggled in La Liga. So I'm just saying, I'm not gonna get carried away by Gyökeres' numbers. Exactly. Ha even says it right here. He wants 300k a week. Yeah, no thank you. No thank you. I'm sorry. I'm not taking a chance to pay someone more than what I'm paying my best player in Reece James to potentially flop. I don't know. I'm not about it. I'm not about it. All right, let's talk about Maignan as well. And by the way, like I said, ladies and gents, pinned into the top of the chat, and I'll put it into the description as well, because some of you guys for some reason don't look at the chat, is the link to come in, have your say, do not be shy. A lot of you like to talk shit as well, so if you got some balls, you can come on here and talk your shit as well. I won't ban you, I won't kick you out, I won't find you. Yeah, I'm just saying, if you want to come here and talk your shit, if you want to have some chess, come have some chess. Here, I'll put that right here, call in link in the description. But yeah, come in, and if you want to chat your shit, come in and chat your shit. But let's look at some tweets that we just picked up on right here. Gaming for Life saying that DiMarzio said this: AC Milan is blocking Maignan to Chelsea. New coach Allegri wants to keep the goalkeeper. They could be true. I mean, DiMarzio has had stuff wrong before. Adamus Prime pretty much pasting here that direct meeting between AC Milan and Chelsea for Maignan. So let's pull up some of the tweets that I have here in regards to that. Just a few. We'll go over more detail tomorrow in the Casually Chelsea show. I decided I'm doing a Casually Chelsea show tomorrow because the transfer window is going crazy, and I don't want to go miss out on anything if I wait till Saturday or Sunday. So we got right here, Chelsea are looking to find value in the summer market. Chelsea are not matching Ekitike's and Maignan's valuation. There needs to be wiggle room. In terms of the valuation, it's 25 million euros, 30 million pounds. No, 25 million pounds, 30 million euros, I believe. Direct meeting between AC Milan and Chelsea for Maignan. Let's go ahead and check pies real quick to see other stuff. All right, here's the big tweet. Chelsea don't see 20 to 25 million pounds as a number they want to pay for Maignan. They started low, and if they can meet in the middle or get close to their 8.5 million pound valuation, then great. If not, there's no drama. All right. So everyone's losing their minds over it. I get it. I understand. But there's a few things to put into perspective here. One, let's look at the bigger picture. The fact that you guys haven't smashed up the like button is absolutely insane. So smash up the like button if you are in the chat. Almost 70 of you watching. Smash up that like button. It helps out the channel tremendously. All right, now in reality now. One, we were never really that concerned about the goalkeeper situation to begin with. This was kind of one of those targets that, like, oh, it's a really good target. We were willing to try Petrovic, but this is definitely a floor raiser in terms of that, and I'm cool with that. That's cool. I'm down to get Maignan, especially for the price that is being touted at 25 million pounds. I think that's a steal. However, this is where two comes in. We have known Clear Lake. Actually, let's be honest. We've known Chelsea our whole lives. Negotiating a deal is nothing out of the extraordinary for us. We've always done it. Like, we've always been trying to negotiate prices and deals. This is just how transfers work. So again, not many people go out there and flat out pay the exact price. Most of the times these deals get negotiated. We had a certain price for Mason Mount. Man United lowballed us at first, and then we came to the middle. Same thing probably happened with Havertz. I can't remember. But point being is that, like, this is our owners. We've known this for the past few years. They negotiate deals all the time. Whether the negotiations go well or not, that's been a big criticism I've had of the directors. I think the negotiating skills are shit. This stuff kind of makes me nervous sometimes. But hey, at the end of the day, they're going to negotiate it. Now, 8.5 million valuation, 1 year left on this contract, goalkeeper. I mean, I feel like that's pretty much up. That's as low ball as it gets. I think it's kind of a ridiculous price to start with for Maignan. I would have said maybe like 15 to start would have been a good starting ground, but you can try to get greedy as long as we have a good relationship with AC Milan. All right, it's not like everyone telling you, oh, they're gonna get up and walk out the door. They're full of shit. Okay, we've done multiple deals with AC Milan. They know how we work, and they've done it to us before with Pulisic. Like, let's stop the fear mongering. Okay, so this is just how negotiations go down. They're gonna have an offer. We're gonna have another offer. Like, Oliver, have you ever bought a car?
No.
Okay. All right. For anyone who's ever bought a used car, all right, and big up Dark for the 27 months of membership. Big up Cement Mixer Gang Dark. We can compete with 3 strikers every time. Chelsea has been good. We've had 2. All right, fair enough. And David in the back, I'll let you in a minute. But in terms of negotiating, right? Whenever you buy a used car, the person posting the listing is usually going to put a price higher than what they actually want. So in this case, AC Milan are probably willing to get 18, 20 million for Maignan, but they're going to post a little higher in the case where someone comes in and actually does buy him outright without even negotiating, right? But in reality, the truth is in the middle. 8.5 is too cheap. 30 or 25 million pounds. I still think it's a bargain for Maignan, but Chelsea see it as too expensive. And listen, whatever stats they're looking at, whatever they're seeing to get these numbers, he has 1 year left on his contract, people. So to an extent, I see where they're coming from. Do I agree with it? Not really. I do think we don't have to penny pinch this much, but if you could save 5-10 mil on the deal by negotiating it down to 16 mil, meet in the middle, then maybe there's something here. Maybe there's something here. But yeah, when it comes to buying a used car, thank you, Omar, for bringing me back on track. When it comes to buying a used car, you go there and you give an offer. They're not going to just go and walk away. Sometimes they do, obviously, but you have to really be offensively low, right? But you give an offer, and sometimes they bite. You don't know until you try, people. Like, as someone who works in sales, you don't know until you try. And half the time, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Take a shot. They might say yes. And if they do say yes, cool. If they say no, then cool. We try and negotiate another deal. That's it. It's that simple. And we have a good relationship with AC Milan. They're not just going to get up and leave. Like, people saying like, oh, you offended them. They're going to just say, fuck you and close the door on you. That's not, no. We have a good relationship with AC Milan. We've dealt with AC Milan for a long time now. So it's just one of those things that people love to fearmonger and all that stuff. I get it. You know, we were excited about the price and all that stuff, and Chelsea are trying to negotiate. We know we don't have good negotiators. However, fuck it, man. If you can get a better price than 30, imagine we come out of this and we sign Maignan for 20 million pounds. That's like the amount we signed Sanchez for. Like, how gassed would you be for that? I'd be pretty fucking gassed. More gassed than if we signed him for 30. So that's my 2 cents on the situation. I think people are overblowing it. And it's only been day 4 of the transfer window, people. We have until September. Like, we're pretending like this is the final hour of the transfer window. It just started.
No, wait a minute.
Go for it.
No, we technically... we want to register these players for the Club World Cup, as many as possible. Especially, you know, bringing in the goalkeeper, where you're going to have to learn Maresca's build-up play. We have to get this transfer. If we're going to do it, we have to, you know, if we're going to do this haggling over trying to get him for, you know, a 7-figure transfer fee, all I'm going to say is it better work, and it better work by June 10th, because that's when it needs to be done by. I believe that's the closing of the transfer window for the period that we're allowed to register players for the tournament.
And if it doesn't happen, Oliver, what happens after June 10th? If we don't get it done, what happens?
Well, then we can't register him for the Club World Cup, and then so with the Club World Cup we have no preseason effectively.
I understand
that replaces preseason. So then you've basically got a goalkeeper that's going to be going into a league campaign with no actual minutes with the team in any kind of match.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a risk. I want as many players as possible to be secured in this window.
If we don't get him for Club World Cup, what will happen?
Well, What do you
It's
mean?
not the end of the
What do
world,
you
is
mean?
my point. Like, it's not like our season's over if we don't get him by Club World Cup. Yes, it will be ideal to get him by Club World Cup, but we have Petrovic. I think Petrovic can put on quite a performance in the tournament, and we were expecting him to put on a performance for the tournament anyways.
I'm not.
You know?
I'm not talking about, like... I mean, I think Petrovic is going to, like... He'll probably be sold anyway because he's the more saleable of the two goalkeepers.
Unfortunately, I'm feeling that way too. It's really sad to see that because I do like him a lot, but it is what it is.
But I'd be happy for Petrovic. I'd be happy for Petrovic to play, but the whole point is, whether it was Petrovic or Maignan or someone else, I just wanted this to be a period, especially in that group stage where we have some fairly easy opposition. It's a chance for these goalkeepers to actually integrate and get a feel for the team that they're joining.
Yeah.
I think
go for it, David.
I think it's kind of related to kind of what you're hinting at, which is, or kind of an indirect thing you're hinting at, which is they don't really rate this guy that highly. I think they think he's good. Yeah, I think they think he's good, but I just don't think they think he's like unbelievably good that we have to like really like he's going to be such a difference from Petrovic or Sanchez that we need to get him now. I think that's the thinking, because if he's to the level that most people are speaking about him, like a world-class level, then you pay that 25 mil straight. If he's really that level to the point where he comes in, and he's going to change your whole trajectory and make it more certain you're going to be in top 4, you're probably going to be challenging, then you pay the 25 mil. Because that's easy change for you to make if he's really that important. But if you don't really view him that level of importance, then you don't pay the 25 mil.
But you see, you're thinking logically, though. I mean, this is the same club that Michael Elise was on the table. He wanted 200 grand a week, and we didn't want to give him that. But he's evidently a world-class talent. So I don't know how well to judge their talent ID, I guess, in that sense.
I think part of the hesitancy, too, we got to be real. Like, let's not pretend that we weren't having these discussions last season or last summer transfer window. We were saying the only issue with Maignan is he's injury prone. That's like a big issue, and it's like a red flag because of how injury prone he is, right? Now, can I get over that? I probably can. I mean, let's also be realistic, and Alisson's injury prone. Now, is he better than Alisson? I don't think so, but Alisson is an injury prone keeper. But you get a decent backup, which we can potentially have in Jurgensen. I think if we were to keep Robert Sanchez as a backup, I think that's okay. I love how I said I think that's okay. I think that's okay. But I'd rather just have Petrovic as a backup. But he's probably going to go and want to get first team minutes because he apparently has a clause in his contract now, in his new contract. But regardless, even if it's Penders as a backup, maybe, who knows? I think that's fine. And I don't disagree. Like, I think you should be. I thought Chelsea was just going to outright pay it, but if they want to try to haggle to save like 5-10 mil or whatever, then so be it. As long as we get it done. As long as we get it done, I don't care. And on top of it too, like, I like the signing a lot. We definitely shouldn't be neglecting the goalkeeper position. I was willing to just wait until next season and just deal with Petrovic and see how he kicks off. He could potentially be a number 1, and then next summer we're looking at this situation. We're like, well, it kind of solved itself. Petrovic has been fantastic. However, since we're here already, might as well. It's an opportunistic signing. Again, though, we weren't really looking for a goalkeeper. We thought we kind of had it. So this is kind of like a bonus signing outside of what could potentially be the other core signings, like a left winger, a center back, another striker. You know, we have 3 other signings before we need to get a goalkeeper, in my opinion. But that's why I'm not fussed about it. Because if it happens, it happens. If not, it goes back to the original plan.
I think, I just really think the question is, how much does he elevate us if he comes in? And when I hear people saying that, if he doesn't come in, I'm kind of fine. I just think people are basically saying indirectly that they don't think he elevates us that much if he comes in.
Really?
That's what I feel. Yeah, because I just feel like if he's really that good of a keeper, then you're paid. Like, the best way to think about it is, imagine if Harry Kane had the exact ability that he has now, and Bayern Munich were offering him he was on his last year contract, Bayern Munich were offering him for 25 mil. Would you be saying, oh, let's haggle? No, you're paying the 25 mil straight because you know what he's going to bring you. So If you really believe this keeper is of that level, then bring him in. There's no question to be had about the price. That's a cheap price if you're talking about a world-class player. You bring him in straight away. Like, my thing is, for me personally, I don't think he's as good as he once was. And also the injury issues is a thing for me. So for me, I would be perfectly fine with just having Petrovic in goal. Because
so
also you have to
think
think
the same way as me. Like, it's kind of a bonus.
Yeah, like, personally, I just wouldn't get him. I mean, if I got him, I would want to keep Petrovic as well. That would be me. I would want to keep Petrovic just because I think that there's something in Petrovic. There's something in Petrovic that we might lose. Like, it might be one of those signings that we look at and like, how do we let him go? And
this feeling.
Maignan he's 30 years old, so he's about to be surplus to requirements. So I just, unless he's really moving the needle, I just don't see, like, I'm not really fussed about him being there or not. The one thing I will give him is that if he comes in, his ball playing ability from the back, it's amazing. That is amazing, and that will change things. But his actual goalkeeping ability right now, I'm not sure how much better it is than Petrovic.
I can't disagree with that. With Petrovic, he's
I know that's
definitely an
controversial.
upgrade on Sanchez. No, I mean, I see your point. He's definitely better than Sanchez. That much I think we can all agree on. He's definitely better than Sanchez in terms of goalkeeping ability. Maybe,
do you want a stat, Marshall?
Before you say that stat, maybe, just maybe, Sanchez probably edges him out in save and stopping ability. Maybe. I do think Maignan is still really good, but for what you get in terms of his passing ability and his ball control, like, this guy actually plays football. Like, you know how goalkeepers end up being goalkeepers because they're not good at any other position, so they just put him between the net? Like, you could tell Maignan was actually like a decent footballer, but he actually is a goalkeeper. Like, he can control the ball well. Like, he's got tech, he's good with the ball. So that's big for Maresca. The other day, by the way, I looked up who in the Premier League has won the most aerial duels, and it was Dan Burn. Do you guys remember what we did against Newcastle when Dan Burn was in there last time? Just long balls that never got to our target because Dan Burn just swallowed up every single one of them. So I'm tired of seeing that, man. I'm tired of seeing that. I want to see, like, proper Ederson type of passes from the goalkeeper to put the striker or whoever is starting right on goal. Like, I want to be dangerous from any position, not just our front three or our midfield. You know what I'm saying? So I think Maignan upgrades that position for sure. Go ahead, Oliver. You were gonna say some stat.
Okay, so last season, Robert Sanchez, 5 errors leading to goal. Mike Maignan in the last 4 years, 4 errors leading to goal.
Yeah, I remember that stat. See, that's what I mean too. You get a safe pair of hands.
Just to cut you off quickly, I think 2 came last year though for Maignan.
What happened?
I think 2 errors leading to goals came last season for Maignan.
Yeah, but even then, I mean,
well, four in the last 4 years. I mean, that writes itself.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, he's definitely a floor raiser in my opinion. But David, what do you think about the other links that we got? So we got Liam Delap through the door. We got EKETIKE. We're still negotiating that. What are your thoughts on that?
EKETIKE, I think, would be terrible. Not because I think EKETIKE is a terrible player, but I just think for the price we would be paying for a striker who his finishing is really, I would say it's just about a bit better than Jackson. I don't think it's crazy better than Jackson, and they expect us to pay 80 mil for him, and we're literally getting exactly kind of what we get with Jackson with a bit less, physical hold up play. I just don't see the point. I would rather just go with Delap and Jackson as a second, or if you want to get rid of Jackson, then just go for one of the best strikers there. But we know they're not going to do that. So, I just think I would stick with what we have. EKETIKE, if he shows promise going forward, then we can justify that 80 mil or 100 mil price tag. But right now, he's not finished, and I don't want to bank 80 mil on hope. Delap is already a Hope, but that's 30 mil that I'm willing
Yeah.
to spend on Hope. I don't want to spend 80 mil on Hope as well. That's too much.
I'll be honest, guys. I have this feeling in the back of my head that EKETIKE doesn't get done, and it's just gonna be Delap this season in Jackson.
That's what I'm thinking too, because I don't think Frankfurt are going to change their stance on the price. I think they're gonna hold steadfast on that, and then we're not gonna be willing to pay it. So,
in your opinion, what do you think a reasonable price would be if they were to go down?
I think 60 mil, 50. That's what I would be saying. That's what I'd be saying.
60.
But 80 mil is just like, what are we doing here, man? Like the guy is like, how much goals? But he scored like 15 goals in the season, or something.
I literally just had it a second ago. Hold on.
And I think some of them were penalties as well. Because like the thing about Jackson is when you see Jackson's goal
in all comps.
Yeah, but when you see Jackson, all his goals are just pens. I mean, on non-pen goals. So when you're coming in, like you really have to work as a striker. You're not going to get no penalties. I think the lack of his penalties is like kind of similar to what Jackson has, but obviously he's in a worse team, so we can give him that kind of leeway.
Yeah, you can give him leeway.
But Ekitike he's at one of the best teams in Germany. So it's like I don't know that the math is not mathing for me for Ekitike.
No,
and
I get that.
I've just seen as well. I just saw a recent post that Gyökeres is asking for 300k. So now that would make sense as to why people are kind of like saying, yeah, I don't know if you want to put a bid on for Gyökeres for 300k a week. So that's the issue. I can't even complain about that anymore. If that is true, I can't complain about it because I don't know if he deserves 300k. Are
you very much like me, where you're hesitant about him because he's coming from Liga NOS?
No, not at all. I think he would be. I think he would be good. I think there's issues, obviously, in terms of the head and stuff. That's the glaring issue that we have. But I think when I look at his play is not of a striker who is limited. I feel like the argument about him having so much goals in transition, I think it only matters if he is limited in his movement. If he's not limited in his ability to move the ball, then I don't think that argument matters for me. Because the issue with transition goals is that what's happening in those situations is that the striker's running onto a ball, so he's not having to do much in terms of just getting to the goal and actually then deciding how he's going to finish. But he's not a player that's like kind of limited technically, so I don't think it matters.
Yeah, I mean, I'm of the same ilk in terms of. I also don't think Gyökeres for 300k a week like that. That's something for me. Like I don't know about that. It's just we've been linked with him since I want to say the first window that these directors were in. Like surely, like we would have pulled the trigger by now. Like it's been 2.5 years, guys. Like that's why I'm like I don't know if Gyökeres is the guy.
I think the glaring issue I would say is the salary, and we can see that with Osterman as well. Like no one is going for him as well just because of the salary thing. But I think if I was Chelsea, I would be creative and say to Gyökeres, okay, listen, let's be real. You scored about 40 or whatever goals in the Portuguese league, which is like now I think it's like the 5th best league in Europe now even. So I'm gonna offer you 220. Yeah. If you can get me 20 goals minimum, I'll up it to 300. 20 goals, no pens. 20 goals, I'll up it to 300. Because I think that's the big issue. Is the first issue is that people will say is you score transition goals.
Yeah.
The second issue is you don't score headers. The third issue is, to be honest, you're in a shit league. So, how do we gauge you in our league? We have to accept that you've scored so many goals. That has to be acknowledged.
Yeah.
But how can we meet in the middle? That's how I would meet in the middle. With him.
Yeah, and I also think like I can understand why he's asking for 300k a week to an extent, right? When you have so much buzz around you and people are watching you and you're breaking records and stuff like that. Listen, there's no denying the amount of goals he's scoring is actually crazy. It is crazy to see the numbers that he's scoring. However, it's just diminished because Darwin Nunez tax, João Felix tax, all these attackers that have come out of Liga NOS have just flopped, right? I do think that because he's 26, I believe. Let me just look up Victor's age one more time. Victor Gyökeres. Wow, I totally butchered his name.
I think you're right. It's 26. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, he's 27.
Oh, 27
So,
even. Jesus.
He's on the wrong side of 20.
Yeah, that's old in football age, man. That's old.
Exactly. They're like, this is gonna be your last contract, essentially. In that case, I understand why.
The problem for him, though, is like we've mentioned, nobody else is coming in for you, so he's gonna be in a tough situation because this is not Sancho.
Osimhen.
Yeah, because this is not a Sancho situation where Sancho still he has that 300k contractually. You know, Gyökeres' salary right now is not. I don't think he's even on 100k in Sporting. So either you decide to take slightly higher than that at whatever club you're at.
Sean. Go ahead.
You know, either you try to take slightly higher than that at whatever club you go to, or you stay at Sporting and make minimal money. Like, so if he's in a difficult position. Osimhen is not, because Osimhen is getting, you know, Saudi's there if he wants to go there. You know, that's always a backup plan for him. But he hasn't got that, you know, backup. So, you know, he's in a difficult situation, and he's already made it clear he wants to leave. So you have to make a choice.
Yeah. No. And going on to the whole Osimhen part too, this guy can't be serious, man. When you only got 2 clubs or 2 leagues bidding for you because they're the only ones that can afford you, Turkish league and the Saudi league, like, the end of the transfer window will tell what's the truth. But as of right now, if we're gonna believe what we're hearing, my dude really doesn't care about legacy. He just cares about the money. It's actually insane.
I don't know. You can't blame him, but I also can't blame Chelsea for not taking that. I mean, I think they're saying he wants 250 after tax or something. Like, that's what in the UK. That's about.
I actually heard today it was like 300 after tax he wants.
Well, 300 after tax in the UK is about 500k a week.
You know what I heard, dude? I heard today that apparently his wages are so he's demanding such high wages that even Saudi don't want to pay it. Let me see if I can find that.
No, but I heard Saudi are going to pay him 500k a week. Well, euros, anyways, euros. 500 euros, but also the difference there is that there's no tax, so you're keeping all that. You know.
Let's see if I can find all this. Victor Osimhen. Let's see if I can find this tweet. I'm gonna have to look away for a bit. Victor, I mean, it hasn't happened either, dude. That's the other thing. Can't believe Inzaghi's going to Al Hilal, I think, right?
Like, they must be paying him a crazy amount of money.
He probably should after that Champions League final. I can't lie.
That was just a bad day in the office, man. That was a bad day in the office. Just unfortunate for him, it happened to happen in the Champions League final. But
hey, I'm not taking blame away from those players, man. They can all hold it.
Yeah, that was a bad day in the office, because that's the worst I've ever seen Inter Milan play. Like, under him, anyways.
That's the worst I've ever seen in a final. That's worse than when Watford played Manchester City in the FA Cup.
Yeah.
This guy, 30 million euros a year per week. Let's just look at this. Let's do some math right here. Number crunching. Okay, don't tell me how to solve it. Can you just tell me the answer, asshole? Oh my god. This guy wants 576 euros a week. 577 euros a week.
But isn't that what they're offering him?
That's what they're offering him. Yeah, essentially.
Yeah, but no one's gonna eat. He might as well just go Saudi. You know, like the problem is, you know, I'm Nigerian. He's Nigerian. I think he's from an impoverished background. When you're a Nigerian, when you're in Europe or in the West, you're not just, the money you make is not. I mean, it depends on how good, you know, how benevolent a person. But if you're a benevolent person, your money is not just your money. So when he's asking for the money he's asking for, I can understand why, because he's probably paying for a lot of people in Nigeria. You know, he's probably paying for a lot, and I'm not even joking. I'm like, I mean, literally, he's probably funding their life, like literal, like uni, transport, food, everything. So, you know, I can understand why he would want that money. I can't begrudge him for that. But from from other leagues, don't expect it. No one's paying that. Not even PSG's paying that.
I'm just looking into some of this stuff here. I mean, the other thing too is like, I get what you're saying. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, when it comes to like generational wealth, I mean, to an extent, Caicedo's in that similar boat. If Caicedo were to get an offer from Saudi, I wouldn't blame him for taking it, considering he's coming from poverty, and I'm sure Osimhen and he has family that comes from poverty. Like, it's just one of those situations that I get it, but at the same time, I feel like we're willing to give you we're not going to give you Saudi money, but Chelsea are willing to give you something lucrative as long as you work towards it. And I remember too long ago, during the Roman era, not too long ago, like a lot of us fans were kind of complaining about how many players we were just paying on the wage books and they look complacent on the pitch. And we were talking about bringing back incentivized wage structure. We used to have it early onset days in the Roman era when we were dominant. Like, it does motivate players to play their best every match. Otherwise, you just don't make as much money. If money is really the factor, then show it. Like,
yeah, but
I get it. Go ahead, David.
Whatever we offer him, even if money, you know, even if we're up in the money, will never be what he's getting from Napoli. Like, for us to meet the after-tax wages in the UK, it's like you're talking about 500k a week. Like, he would not just be the highest earner in like Chelsea, but maybe the Premier League. He would be the highest earner. You know, because that's after tax, not before 500? Tax. That's after tax.
If it was 500.
To make about 300k in the UK after tax, you have to be earning about 500k. I think it might even be more than that even.
I think someone said this, right? If we get the majority, a good, Oliver, hear me out. If we get a good bulk of the players that we know are leaving the club out of the club, you know how much in salary we free up a week?
Oh, it's loads. I mean, depending on who we get out, but it's astronomical.
Let's just say like the big ones, like the ones that are clear and obvious, the ones that are on that list.
Okay, so Sterling, that's 300. Kepa, that's 175. So we're already on 475 from those two.
It would be somewhere around 1.9 million a week.
Wow. Yeah, I knew it'd be something crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, and it might even be more, to be honest. $2 million a week in salary that we would be letting go of if we can get rid of most of the baggage that we have at the club right now. Osimhen's asking for a quarter of that. Well, he's not asking, but Saudi's offering him a quarter of that.
And the other issue with Osimhen is, it's like there's certain strikers out there,
yeah,
that we all would say, if I get you, I know I'm getting 20 goals a season.
That's
right.
True.
Kane,
yeah, Holland. I would put in an argument for Lewandowski. I think
Lewandowski, yeah, he's a bit iffy because I feel like it's only in the last year has he really come back to like the level he was at, really. But you could add him, but
yeah,
Osimhen,
there's an argument there.
Yeah, Osimhen, I'm not fully sure that he's got that aura around him. That yes, if he comes in, he's gonna get 20 goals. I mean, even the people that support him, because I was on Spaces on Twitter and I was asking people like,
sure,
are you telling me that when he comes in? I was asking him.
You were asking what?
I was asking people on Spaces that when he comes in, can you guarantee me that he will be on 20? That he will be getting
Your mic cut out. That he'll be getting what?
I'm assuming 20 goals this season.
Yeah.
Hold on, can you guys hear me now?
Yeah, we can.
Now
hear
we
you
can.
now. Your mic was cutting off or whatever.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah, I was asking them basically like, are you sure that if he comes in, he's going to get 20 goals a season? You know, and even they couldn't, you know, give me that reassurance. And this, so I think there's still that question of like, are you definitively that striker that's going to put us over the edge? You know, yes, we understand you've done something at Galatasaray. You've had probably 1-2 good seasons in your 5-year career, maybe. So there's still a question about his actual output. I think because I feel like if he was a striker like the King, exactly, because you know those numbers always come down when you come to the Premier League. Yeah. Even Haaland's numbers have come down now as well, so you know those numbers will come down.
Well, minus the first season, but yeah.
Yeah. So this is the questions that come, you know, and when you're asking for 300k after tax, oh my goodness, you better be like, once you come in, I should be saying I'm probably winning the title now.
Vic, would you be willing to bet your house on that? That's what I mean. I feel like there's a shed of like, there's still a question mark over it. No, even with penalties. If you can get me 20 goals with penalties, then kudos, because you know Mo Salah scoring 20 plus goals with penalties. You know, Cole Palmer got 20 plus GA with penalties. Like, I'll give it to you with penalties. That's fine. That's why I was, you know, on the Jackson train earlier this season, because you gave me 14 without penalties. That's impressive. If you had penalties, you would have gotten 20 plus. I guarantee it. Especially with the amount of penalties we had last season. Yo, he would have gotten me 20 plus. But, and that's the thing too, like, I'm not... Oliver, let me ask you this. If let's just say so far, if we do get Maignan, we get Liam Delap. Let's just say we sign Gay.
Okay.
And then you have all the players coming in, right? The Santos, the Ugochukwu, so on and so forth, the Sugo, all that shit. Yeah. Assuming we know the best is going to stay, right? Do you think that could be enough to challenge for the league last season?
We need a left winger.
Okay, Gittins. Sorry, I'll add that. Gittins.
Gittins isn't good enough to challenge, no.
Okay. Do you think we improve off of this season?
I think we can, but I don't think it's not a challenge. Like it might be one of those ones where it's, you know, we could even maybe get second place depending on how things go, but it might be one of those ones like, do you remember United under Ole when they finished second? That wasn't a title race, but
yes.
Or even Arsenal this season, that wasn't a title race, that wasn't a challenge, but they finished second. It might be one of those things. I don't see a challenge yet, though, not with this level of player that we're getting.
I see. David, how do you, I mean, when you get back, but how do you feel about what I just asked? If we were to get Gittins, Gahey, Maignan,
I'm actually...
and just Delap, no EKETIKE.
I'm actually quite optimistic with, Gittins. I think that obviously there is an issue with his end product, but I feel like in terms of what Maresca wants from his wingers, I think he has that in abundance. It's just the final, aspect that is an issue. Delap, I just think, unfortunately, the problem we have is that when we look at all these signings, it's just outside of Gay and Maignan, there's a lot of question marks, man. It's just a lot of like, we're hoping Delap does well. It's like we're hoping Gittins does well. And I'll be very honest, I'm still not fully sold on Maresca, so yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure, man. I just think I'm kind of like in like 3 different places of like, it could go bad,
yeah,
it could remain the same, or it could be really good. Last season, at the first half of the season, I was really optimistic. I was one of the people saying, yeah, we're having a title charge. Because I just felt it was possible. I looked at the way we played against Liverpool the first match, and I was just thinking, my goodness, like we've come up so much, like we're actually dominating teams like this. You know, we can do something this season.
Yeah.
And then it just went to crap. So I just think it depends on you know, what Maresca does in terms of the way we play. If either there's two things: either he gets the players he needs to play that style of football he wants to play, or he needs to adapt to the players we have. Because what I've always said is that our players have limitations, yes, but there are ways around those limitations that we can still make it work. You know.
You don't think Maresca adapted this season though?
No, but this is the thing. You know, the last few games we played, you know, this is a manager that said, I only play one way. I can never change it, and he did change it. You know, we became more defensive. We stopped playing out from the back with Sanchez. He was doing long balls. You know, we became a more of a counter-attacking team. You know, even before those last few games, there was still kind of changes in terms of, you know, before we were isolating our wingers, then he started like bringing in more overlapping and underlappings of the fullback on one side, and then maybe a 10 on an 8 on the other side. So there were changes that were coming in because yes, this is the Premier League. You're at Chelsea Football Club. You can have as much philosophy as you want, but when it comes down to it, it's about winning. You know, and I think he realized that pressure pretty quickly when things started to go wrong. You know, so I'm hoping he can adapt to, you know, the players that we have, because I think that if we play a certain way, we can do well. If we try to play this controlling possession game with people with Madueke and Neto, it's not going to work out, man. Those guys are just not. They're too limited to play that kind of football. You know, these are not Barcolas or Dembeles who you can leave on the wings and just let them go past two people and you're through. You know, this is not the way it works with them. So, you know, it's all down to Maresca.
I mean, this is my hot take. I agree with you with Dembele, but I feel like Barcola and Madueke are like two cut from the same cloth.
Nah,
like they'll give you the techers, they'll dribble. Like I till this day, I still think Madueke is our best dribbler. Like no one in the team can dribble better than him, and that's what you need as a winger.
He is, but Barcola's a different level. I would say.
You saw the Champions League final.
Yeah, but you know,
Madueke does the same thing.
With Barcola, the issue was the issue was his end product, right? But even then, you know, Barcola has been coming off the bench primarily halfway through the season of the League One.
Yeah.
And he's still got, I think he's got like 28 GA. You know, so this is a guy that, yes, he is frustrating, but what he will do is he will get to those positions consistently. You know, and even if you're not great, if you're getting it consistently, you always have a chance. The problem with Madueke is Madueke will have one game where, yes, you're thinking, oh my gosh, this might be messy, you know, like, and then the next game is trash. So he's very inconsistent. Whereas Barcola, you're getting a constant, you know, drip of quality in every match. The only issue he has, like you've mentioned, yes, is the end product is not always there. That's the issue.
But when we say like Madueke has a trash game, are we saying that because of his inability to score, or are we saying that
no I think it's his overall game sometimes is just terrible. Like some games he does have that, he's going past people. Other games he just can't do it. I don't know, he's trying things, it's not working, and it's just general play decision making is just poor sometimes. You know, because I'm not a GA person. I'm never going to be a GA person. I'm always going to look at your overall game, you know. But that is his issue. But there's no doubt he's our best winger. If Palmer's not on the wings, he's our best winger.
That's what I mean too. Like, he's our best winger. I know people are running out of patience with him, but I'm willing to give him more time, because listen. When he went on that left wing that first time, he was cooking. Now, a few games in, he dipped a bit, but he was cooking. So, like, I think that there can be something there. I really do think there can be something there. I think this first season is growing pains. It's figuring out the system. Like, we kind of saw it happen with Luis Enrique. I'm not comparing Luis Enrique to Maresca now, but I'm just saying, like, Luis Enrique first season growing pains. Like, they weren't that great, and Mbappe was kind of like holding them back and stuff like that. You know, they didn't do as well in UCL. So like I think there are growing pains with systems in general. I do feel, and this is me hoping, right? I'll admit I don't know the future. I don't know what's gonna happen, but I do hope that what Maresca does next season is, bro, you figured out you had the best attack at one point. Then you fixed up on the defense, but you sacrificed the attack. Let's find like a balance here. Let's find like a balance. And you're gonna have players now, right? You're gonna have players, you're gonna have, let's also be honest. My man didn't have a striker. Like just like Arsenal, my man did not have a striker for like two months out of the season. Yeah, it's gonna be hard to score goals when you don't have a striker. So
Yeah, I mean,
there's context.
Your point on Madueke there, that Liverpool match is the key. That's the key thing. You know, he has a match like that where you're thinking this guy's a 1B, man. This guy, what are we thinking about? Even thinking about selling him? Like never. And then like, I was so gassed after the match. Like, yeah, you know, Madueke, maybe that's been the issue the whole time, is that he's not been on the left wing. And then the next matches are just like it's just back to normal. Like it's just like if that Madueke from Liverpool showed up the next few matches, and I really believe that we wouldn't even have struggled to like make top four. I don't feel like we would have struggled at all. You know, but
it's
this is the
though. You know,
exactly. But that's the point. So this is the issue with Madueke. It's too inconsistent to the point now that I'm a person that I like him, but I really wouldn't shed a tear for him going. Like, if he leaves, I'm not too mad about it. Like,
I just think it's gonna be. I just think in the current winger market we're gonna struggle to find somebody who fits the team as well as he does. Like that's the thing. That's the only thing I would say. What did you guys talk about so far?
Something about Madueke here in the middle. Can I drop?
What was that, JC? You can talk.
Yeah. Whatever you listed here about Madueke are not his weaknesses, are his strengths. He's a good dribbler. He's physically strong. He carries the ball. Nobody can take ball from him. Nobody can push him from the ball. He takes shots. His weaknesses, to be honest, like since Arsenal, he has been lonely. He's not had a support until.
JC, can you bring the mic a little closer to you? Just because you're coming in.
Now? Until Arsenal game in December or somewhere.
Yeah.
Palmer used to play a little bit towards the right. He moved central and below, and Palmer started getting marked. And lonely, Madueke was lonely there. He still stood firm there. My thing is, the only thing which I don't like about Madueke is he makes wrong choices sometimes. He lacks that awareness of others. Like, okay, Palmer will make a move there. Like a Palmer, he can give a ball just across a forward player who's pushing him and release Noni. Noni doesn't do that very often. There is a counter attack on, and he will pick the wrong pass. He will take a shot when he has to pass. He will pass when he has to take a shot. That awareness of surroundings and movements and combination play at the top of the field where seconds are precious, at that time he is lacking a little bit. But that comes with experience, with maturity, with knowing and the game and playing a lot with the team, settled team, day in, day out. But I'm not even worried about that position. We have Estevao Willian. I'm not putting any pressure. But the guy who's coming, he's positionally aware, like out of this world. He might not be ready physically. He might not be culturally integrated in UK. He might have to adapt to the weather. There will be other challenges the other guy will be facing. But Noni is there. So it's not like we are in a poor situation there in that side. If you look at strength, try taking a ball away from him or pushing him off the ball. He's the only one who takes the ball and carries it forward. He's fast. He also contributes defensively. So Nani is a good player. There's a player in him, but he can go that next level. That's why Maresca also keeps on saying. As for Maresca, he adopted at all. I mean, the program time will not be enough. the amount of changes he adapted, the different styles and different minute adjustments he made. And based on what players he was missing, at the time, he didn't have any forwards. He had a Kunku, the only guy who was not there, but he was supposed to be there, but he had no other choice. And he still somehow we survived. So I think the Maresca was tactical awareness was something like refreshing when you coming from a season with Poch where it was lacking a little bit more. But Noni, I think these are his strengths, not his weaknesses.
I'll say this on Nani. Ahmed's Durag, big up. I hope you're not somewhere dark and damp and just sketchy. Big up Ahmed's Durag, wherever Ahmed's Durag may be. He's selfish as fuck. We saw enough of that during the final too. I don't mind wingers being selfish. Like honestly, like we saw what an unselfish winger looked like in pretty much Jadon Sancho this season. Like just pass the ball, keep the ball, but pass it. Just keep possession, just pass it. Like, bro, we need goal scoring wingers. We need wingers that can be aggressive and attack the defenders. Like, in a sense, I need wingers to be selfish. Like, you don't. Obviously, there's and this is where the decision making kind of kicks in. I think like there's a time and a place for it. Like if you're just like not winning any dribbles on that day, you're not having a good day, then stop fucking dribbling. Like pass the ball, figure out another way to impact the game. Right? Like I can't tell you how many times when Pulisic was in the team, I would get pissed off at this guy for like, bro, you are not winning dribbles. Can you stop trying to go for it? Like, this guy has your number. Figure out another solution. Like, that is being too selfish. But then the opposite, the complete opposite is where you have Jadon Sancho, just pass it back, not do much with it, run up forward, pass it back. Like, we don't need that. So to an extent, I need wingers that can have their moment, dribble past the player, pass the ball, or have their moment, dribble past the player, take a shot. Like, I don't mind wingers being selfish. Get your goals. Get your assists. I think that's fine, totally fine. But when did he turn up besides Wolves game and Liverpool? I can't remember, man. Like, I don't really keep track of these things, man. It's been a minute. Nottingham Forest.
Equalized.
He did, right? He did equalize.
The first game.
Yeah. Oh, the first game.
Yeah, and there's been other games where he's been all right, but he just didn't score. But you know, it's just again,
we don't know how Esteban's going to cook in this league. Right?
Yeah.
But like, I get the inconsistencies thing, but like, all of our players have bad patches outside of Caicedo, and
I just think
that's it.
We shouldn't be putting too much stock in Esteban, like he's so young. Like we shouldn't be. Listen,
be like. We'll see against. We will see literally tomorrow.
True. This is contributing to the team, by the way, winning the free kicks and stuff.
I'm gonna be with you. Just watch the game tomorrow. It's that simple. Just watch the game tomorrow. I'm telling you right now, because he's gonna be playing against one of the most physical sides in all of South America.
Yeah,
Esteban.
There is no doubt about that. No doubt about, like, he knows technically how to handle the physicality. He but it's not only about the game. It's about having different food, different weather, different environment. Your friends are not with you anymore. You are out of your country. You are still very young. That adaptation takes 6 months, sometimes 1 year. That's
fine.
That is something Chelsea must look after him. Like the club must look.
Yeah,
of
course they're gonna look after him. I'm not worried about that, to be honest. Plus he's gonna have Santos with him. By the way, Santos is going to be like his older brother in the team, pretty much.
Yeah, hope so. And let's hope Rodrigo.
Yeah, Rodrigo's not going anywhere, man. I'm be real with you.
Peru,
that dream is dead.
4:30 on Friday. I'm ready to get.
I'm hoping that
pieced up.
It's so weird. I'm really kind of. I would hope that Maresca would change to a 3-man midfield of, you know, Enzo, Lavia, and Caicedo.
He might,
because I'm so worried about if Santos is as good as everyone is saying. if there's only two,
He's pretty good.
if there's only two midfield positions for him, right? For him to like go alternate between, and then we have Lavia there as well. I'm just thinking how, and then what's his name? Asugo's coming in as well.
Yeah.
How is he going to get game time?
Can I ask a
game time.
question to everybody? Can you see Maresca playing a 4-3-3?
Yo, RSM,
With
I'll let
this
you answer
team.
this one. The floor is yours.
What was it? What was the question?
Can you see this team and Maresca playing 4-3-3? How would it look like? Wouldn't that be like an alternative?
The only issue with the 4-3-3 is we did that last season, and the issue with the 4-3-3 was the fact that when you play 4-3-3, we can't play with Reece the way we want to, because he can't. With the 4-3-3 and the way that we would most likely want to play it, we would need Reece bombing up and down. Cucurella can do that really, really well, so I'm not worried about that. The issue would be Reece James on the right-hand side, because he cannot do that for 90 minutes, week in, week out.
Yeah. But that is like also we have so many good midfielders. So basically, that should be more suited to us. No?
Maybe, but like I said, I think one of the big things that they probably told Maresca when he came in the job is we need you to get the most out of Reece James, and asking him to play in a 4-3-3 where he's just a right back bombing up and down, like he can't do that. He's going to get injured. Like the reason why he's played so many games is because the system that Maresca plays allows him to pick and choose the moments that he wants to bomb forward, that he has to bomb back. But in a 4-3-3, you're a fullback, you have to be bombing forward, up and down the pitch all the time. There's no choice. You just have to be.
I don't think you have to.
No, you do. Trust me with the way. I mean, we saw it last season. Look at what Gusto was good last season because he was doing that.
If we play the 4-3-3, all we would have to do is literally just continue inverting him. We don't have to have him bombing up and down if we don't want, or even if you want that. So let's say you want him to do two bomb up and down, then just don't use him for for a full game, consecutively. Switch that up. I feel like you can do that. So I personally think that the 4-3-3 might be the best formation that we have. Like I think that it might be, and I feel that maybe the way we're using the team now is actually limiting us. That's what I feel. But
no, I disagree with that. I don't think 4-3-3 fundamentally changes the issues that the squad has in terms of quality. It doesn't, because we saw what the squad looked like last season.
It doesn't change. It doesn't change the quality, but what it does is I want Reece to be on that right side. I want him, not Reece, what's his name, Palmer, on that right side. I prefer him on that right side where.
Okay, but you do realize once again with this system, Palmer has the freedom to go wherever he wants.
Yeah,
he does, but it's not the same. Like he has the freedom. But it's not really the same.
So tell me fundamentally then, legitimately, what is the difference then if Palmer's allowed to do what he was allowed to do whatever he wanted last season to this season?
The difference I saw
towards the right, and we were facing a low block, so they overload the right side, and then the left wingers and Enzo are crashing in. Or they go on the left side overload, and then they are crashing it from the right side.
This is why we struggled this season, because the way that we play, right, we overload the midfield. And against the low block, they know we're going to overload the midfield, so they put players in the midfield, which is why this season we have struggled, because the wingers have been one-on-one.
Yeah.
And they don't do enough.
But they actually, in terms of playing, I think we're the highest team in terms of actually being successful playing for the middle. So I think our actual biggest issue has been that our wingers are inept, and they're not inept, but they're just limited. Let me not be too harsh. They're limited.
I agree. That's why we need ghost wingers.
I think that's been the biggest issue, and I think also the difference with Reece on the right side, not Reece, I keep saying Reece, Palmer on the right side, is that his dribbling ability is better on the right side. When he's coming off the right, his dribbling ability is better. Why? Because he can play with the kind of, what's the word you guys use in basketball? What's that word you use? Size up? Is it size up? Like when you have like different options.
Yeah, but Palmer has been free roaming. Yeah,
I forgot what it's called. Basically, basically when he's on the right, he can basically play with the defender in terms of options. So am I going to cross the ball in, or am I going to cut past you? So when he's in the middle, the option to play with those things is not as much. This is why you've seen his dribbling. I think his dribbling numbers have gone down. He's not as incisive when it comes to dribbling as he was last season.
But that's just because you just get less one-on-ones in the middle of the pitch than as a right winger. That's so you just want Palmer to be a right winger. That's pretty much what you're asking for, because like he can't do what you're saying and be in the 10. Because that doesn't have to do with him being on the right or the left. That just has to do with the position that he gets in the system.
Hang on. Palmer has not been always sitting in the middle of the pitch. He roams around a lot.
That's my point. That's what I'm saying. Like he's the only player in the entire team that is allowed to move wherever he wants on the pitch.
Exactly. And one of the beneficiaries of other teams ganging up Palmer has been Enzo. Because if you are putting more people on Palmer, then Enzo gets more free time. Caicedo moves up sometimes. We have been doing that. If you are looking at only the first half of the season, yes, we were going through the middle, but after that we changed quite a bit. And Palmer, we've seen him dropping back. We've seen him on the left side, rarely on the left side, but mostly on the right side. Yeah, he drifts in and out.
Look, this is what I mean. This is Palmer last season compared to this season. His stats went down like in certain areas because he's not a winger anymore. He's a 10. But when you look at the key passes, he's still doing the same amount of key passes.
Yeah, the
per 90.
Yes, that's good. But I think what we want is for him to still be that focal point in terms of goals and whatever. That's what I'm looking for.
So that's what I'm saying. So you want him to play right wing, because what you're asking him to do is you want him to be a right winger. You don't want him to be the 10 anymore. That's pretty much what you're saying.
No. Yeah, I want him to be a right winger. Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. That has nothing to do with 4-4-3-3, because he could be a right winger in this system.
I agree with that. That's what I was gonna say. I don't think it matters.
Yeah. Like 4-3-3 doesn't change anything.
He's a right winger
he's a right winger, and he's given the freedom to go everywhere he wants on the pitch. He's a 10, and you just want him to be more of a right winger, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But that's just
so
that's what you're asking for. Like
if he can still play on the right now, in this 4-3-3, how does that affect Neto or whoever's on the right? What happened to them?
No, right. So right now, because he's a 10, right, he's in the right half space. He can't hold the width as a winger and wait for a fullback to overlap or a midfielder to come and give him more options. He's the 10, so he chooses whether he goes left. He goes left or right. He's given the freedom to figure out where he thinks the game is at, on which side of the pitch. Yeah. That's why he's in the 10.
For me, I just think he should be on the right, because I just feel like what people are not understanding is.
That's fine, but I could point to earlier this season, for example. I think the Wolves game, he played on the left. The Newcastle game, he was playing on the left-hand side. He scored a goal. In the Wolves game, scored a goal. In the Newcastle game, I think I do think that like we are maybe a bit overblowing Palmer's poor form in the second half and saying it's due to the system instead of his own fault. Like, I do think it's down to him.
I don't think so. Can I just make this point quickly? Just before you go, Jason, can I make this point quickly? I think for me, it's reminiscent of like we had Hazard in the team, right? Hazard was in the team. He's a left winger. Sarri, I think in a few matches used him as a false 9, and he was crap. And really and truly, you would think that, okay, yeah, Hazard with all his attributes, he would work on as a false 9, but it didn't work because there is something that happens when you are on the right or the left that it affects your ability to dribble and all this and actually penetrate defenses. There's options. Like when you're dribbling, it's not just the thing of like what you're doing is you're playing a game with your opponent. There's a triple threat thing that happens, and actually, when you are on the right, that triple threat is different than when you're in the middle.
I even thought of an example. I even just thought of an example where Palmer played on the left-hand side from the 10 this season against Liverpool. Look at the dribbling that he did. Remember when he hit the inside of the post?
Yeah,
that was him playing on the left-hand side.
That goal in itself was from right side, and it's a mistake to say Hazard was always on the left. No, there was Pedro, there was Willian, there was Hazard, and and specifically if you see which system in Conte's system, they were all three rotating, and Hazard played where he was most comfortable was his left side, but was he like it's not like football is like you draw those positions on a field and that's where you only have to be. It's not like that.
It's
Game is
not.
played like that.
It's not about drawing a position. It's about where you are coming from when you receive the ball. Yes, unfortunately, it's gonna be different than when you are in the middle. People that naturally play that 10%, they have an understanding of how they're gonna receive the ball and turn their man when they're in that position. And it's the same way as
He's
Palmer come
not
from the
right
right.
in the middle. He's never
You
right
know,
in the middle.
and
We
we
have
have
got
seen
Enzo in half spaces and we have Palmer in half spaces.
he's not always in the middle, yes, but what I'm saying
He's
is I want
mostly
him to
not in the middle.
specifically
He's
I want him to
mostly not in the
specifically
middle.
be yes,
Wide
but
on
I
the
want
right.
him I think he will be better being
He's not a
specifically
winger.
coming from the right to receive
Yeah.
that ball. And
I
we can't
don't
say he's
want.
not we can't
Imagine
say
what
we
you're
can't say
asking,
Palmer's
David.
not a
You're
winger because
asking
he was a
Palmer
winger
and
last year.
Yeah, he
He was a
Palmer.
winger last
You're
year and he was
asking
quite good.
David. Listen. You're asking Palmer to be a winger to give the width to the team and start from the sideline. He's my
Yeah,
best player.
yeah,
I
actually,
don't want him
Yeah,
to
I
be
do.
standing at the corner of the pitch and
Why
starting
not?
from there. I don't.
Like
If it is a low block,
when Real
yes.
Madrid play,
If it is a low block, yes, but not all the time.
when Real Madrid play, the way they stretch teams is they literally just tell
I
Vinicius
want
just
him to be closer to the goal. You ask me
on
why
the left
not.
wing.
I'm telling you why not. I want him
Yeah,
closer
but
to the goal.
your position does your position doesn't make sense. That's what I'm saying. So when Real
What
Madrid
I will
play,
say,
they ask Vinicius to stay on the left side of the pitch to stretch the team. Because why? Because if you have a player that's really good at beating his man on that right or left side, then the defense has to make a decision, and that decision means that there's actually more space for your infield players to go in to the box. So this is what we can use, but we've not really used this.
So you want to
We've not really used
him
this.
to be playing in spaces where Neto or Noni are playing, right?
No, I will just take Neto off the pitch. I'm just taking him off the pitch. I'm putting Palmer as the right winger. I'm taking Neto off the pitch.
Yeah, that's
He can
what
come
my
off if he
question
wants
is.
to
You
wear.
want Palmer to be
Yeah,
in the
that's what I want
spaces
in
where
the
usually you
4-3-3
see
system.
Noni or
Yeah,
Neto.
that's what I want. Yeah,
you know what it is for
Yeah,
me.
no. I don't want my
I don't,
winger to be.
I don't
My
understand.
Palmer to be on the flag.
I mean, he was fine last season on the flank, but the thing is, though, here's the thing. I think there's multiple things to this. I think there's multiple layers to this, and then I want to hear from CJ because he just joined us here. I think in this system, it goes back to what I said, right? It's the first year of Maresca, the first season. I think it's getting the nooks and crannies out. I mean, we saw Luis Enrique and the players talk about it. Vitinha talk about it clearly. Like, the first season was kind of getting the fundamentals. The second season was about adding more to those fundamentals. If we can add more to those fundamentals, then we could see what happens this upcoming season. We could potentially see, because here's the thing too. I'll add this. Last season, all of us said Enzo's not a 10. This season, he has played as a 10, and he's done a good job. Like, it's about those fundamentals and getting that down pat. And we can see how players can be versatile. And in this system with Maresca, I do believe that you can have games where you shift Enzo into the 10. You have Santos and Caicedo behind him. And then you have Palmer on the right. Or even, without needing to invert Caicedo, you can have Caicedo, Lavia, Enzo in the 10, Palmer on the right, and you have Reese in the right back. Like, I think it doesn't necessarily need to be a 4-3-3, which brings me to my second point is I don't understand people's obsession with going to a 4-3-3 when we don't play a 4-3-3. Pochettino last season played a 4-3-3. It didn't work out for us in terms of defensively. And as soon as we go to a back three, everyone says 4-3-3. Under Tuchel, everyone said we need to go to 4-3-3. All this. Yo, I am sick and tired of hearing 4-3-3. There's other formations there. I mean, listen, we could play a 4-3-3 if you want, David. But, hey, at the end of the day, bro, just play the whatever fucking formation actually wins me games and gets me results. It could cost me not playing my best players, sure. But we have UCL. There's rotation. Players are going to play. I don't know why people are so obsessed with playing 4-3-3. It happens every season we don't play a 4-3-3. People just want to go to 4-3-3. I don't get it.
You're going to play in the UCL, you're going to play your best players every match.
Yeah.
So there's actually not going to be enough time for rotation unless you've guaranteed, you're in the second round by a certain point. You're
Some
not
of
going
our
to be
players,
you're not going to be rotating players in
but
the
like
Champions
the
League.
way
Marshall-
the way we rotate now, what I'm trying to tell you is some of our players are good enough to do UCL and Premier League, but we can't play them all. So we're gonna have good players for UCL. We're gonna have good players for Premier League, and because of rest, because of minutes, because of I can only play 11 players, some of you guys are gonna miss out, but you'll play UCL. Like Lavia is gonna miss out some
Marshall,
games.
I will
Doesn't mean
drop
he's B squad. You know, he can play UCL. What's up, JC?
Marshall, I will drop out. I will give the stage to CJ and others, but I will just leave with one final argument, which is people are doing too much with this, like position, who has to be here, and Maresca's
I mean, I
system
get
is
it.
yeah, and Maresca's system is like 3-5, 3-5. If you look at holistically, Maresca system is about creating numerical advantage in the place where the ball is. If the ball is at when we are defending, we are back 5. When it is in the midfield, we are moving our left winger or right winger up to again create that numerical advantage. And when we break and we move forward, you will often see at least 3 players, at least 3, sometimes 4 players bombing the final third. And that is Maresca's actual system. That's creating numerical advantage in different phases of the game where the ball is in play in that part of the field to create a numerical advantage. It's pretty flexible system, and flexibility comes from inverting is what is inverting. It is changing position, players exchanging, and things like that. So if you look at that, it is pretty different ways and styles how Maresca does it. It is interesting, sometimes overlapping, sometimes inverting. But okay, I leave with that. And thanks for having me. It was
Of course.
a great discussion.
CJ or Kalis? I think CJ says be right back. I don't know if he's here, but Kalis or CJ? Well, what are you guys saying?
Yeah, man. Big up to everybody here, man. Can you hear me proper or no?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah, I have to say the whole Palmer thing on the right is kind of a problem for me because the way we play this system is that both our wingers have to pin the defense back. Have you noticed that most of the time when you build up, none of our wingers actually drop deep to collect the ball? It's always Palmer or Enzo, you know? So having Palmer come from basically from pinning the defender to coming back because he likes to get on the ball sometimes to make these, inside passes to Jackson's forerunners, like the goal for Enzo versus Betis, right? Am I right? Yeah. So having him run back and get the ball will have the opposition left back or right back that's on him to be more like to be pinned on him, get him man marked in a sense, and we don't want to have that. And the reason why we scored that goal, everybody's like, oh, Palmer was like, oh, it's a moment of magic, it's a moment of this. Though at halftime, what I've seen, the whole thing, Maresca told both our 10s from Enzo and Palmer to drop wider because, as you said, teams when they try to defend against us, they try and like pack the midfield, right? So we have to go outside. Yeah,
that's very true.
So now Maresca told both of them to drop wider, to pull both midfielders that are like packing the midfield to follow Palmer, to follow Enzo, creating more space. That's why immediately when Palmer drops more deep near basically the right winger, there's more space outside. There's more space. Yeah.
Sorry, are you finished? Sorry, go on. If you're not finished, sorry, continue.
Yeah, now you can go and do your thing.
I mean, for me, I think I understand what you're saying, but again, I just feel like sometimes we're kind of like padlocking ourselves in football, like with like positions. Like, yes, I understand Palmer's the one receiving the ball, coming down to receive the ball. He drops deep to receive the ball.
Yeah.
Why can't Caicedo do that? If Lavia is also on the pitch, even Lavia can do that. Lavia can do it. Caicedo can do it. Enzo, not to an extent. He's probably gonna have to like pop it off as soon as he gets it. But Lavia and Caicedo, they can do that job. So this is why I'm saying it's like we have this system, and it's like we've decided that the fundamentals of the system can never be changed in any way. It can never be altered in any way. When it's like, no, there's ways around this stuff. And the question is what you are doing now beneficial to the team? Yes, we've made it to the Champions League. We won 9 games out of our last 10 matches. Wonderful achievement because I didn't expect it. I'll be very honest. But even then, it was a struggle. Like, those matches were an absolute struggle because we did not look good. We won the Fulham match 2-1. That was the first half of that match was one of the worst football I've seen us play in ages. So obviously the system is not working great. So yeah, maybe, next year things are going to improve. It's going to get better. There's going to be a lot more understanding from the players of what they need to do. But as of right now, I'm just saying, for me, in terms of what would work well, attacking wise, is doing what we've done before, which is having our best player be in his best position, or at least our best attacking player be in his best position, which was on the right.
Yeah, but Palmer's best position isn't on the right wing. It's on the right half space. That's where he takes most of his shots. That's where he creates most of his...
Yes, but last year he was getting to that right half space by being on the right wing.
Can you tell me how many games he played on the right wing last year?
I can't give you a clear number, but from what I feel, he was playing on the right wing most of the season.
Nah, not really.
Okay, so where was he playing?
He moved from right wing to number 10, and that's the thing. But that's the point. That's the point, though. He's moving from right wing to number 10. There's a difference. Yeah,
and
how does he move that? Because we had Malo Gusto busy holding the width, running
it's difficult
up and
for
down.
people to understand this. I know it's that they don't understand this.
To you, man. Let me explain it to you.
I mean, let me give it a shot, because I think what you're trying to say, and to an extent, I get where you're coming from with this, is the Cole Palmer we saw last season, where he dealt in the right side's attacking space. He most of the time he usually had to deal with 2 or 1 person 1v1 situations in the 10 or in that creative space that he's been playing this season. He's had to deal with being surrounded by opposition players, which brings a whole different aspect to the game. You can't cut back like you were, which is maybe like a fundamental thing you would do. This is what I'm saying. Like, I get what you're saying, but the player, and to an extent, I agree with you, David. Like, I do want to see Palmer. I almost rather see Palmer in the right. Maybe not in this system, but in a game where it could work better for him, because he started the season off on the right. Like, if you remember the Man City game, he started the season off on the right. He created chances from like these long crosses, but it wasn't the same Palmer we saw with Pochettino, where he was kind of like free to roam. What like Cal's was saying, like in the right forward position. He was more with, stay wide. And this is where I go back to, like, it could be the fundamentals, getting that right. Maybe this time when we see Palmer go wide, he knows the system now. He can figure it out and maneuver there, and he won't look like how he looked like against Man City. But I get what you're saying, because when you're moving him away from the right wing and into the 10 position, well, one of the fundamental things that
it changes how you look at the game. That's the issue. It changes how you look at the game.
It changes how you look at the game, but one of the fundamental things you take away from him is that cutback. That was the thing that got him so many goals, that cutback. You can't cut back in the midfield. I mean, you can, but what the fuck is it going to do? You're not, like, going 1v1 with someone. You're cutting back. Usually you're probably just, like, passing the ball to someone else, and we saw that a lot with him this season. I don't disagree with you, but at the same time, I don't think he's necessarily been terrible in the 10.
No, it's not been terrible. I think that's been the lie. It's not.
We've been sacrificing the goals for more like creativity.
Yeah,
which he does create
his numbers
for us.
Are still good regardless. His numbers are still good.
Yeah.
Like, his numbers are still good. It's just about, we're talking about what's the optimum, what's the highest level you can get out of him, and that's what we're trying to get. But I think that's the key point you mentioned, is that when you're, yes, I understand what's his name? Yeah, I understand what you're saying in terms of, yes, he came in, but that's the key point. He's coming in from the right. And the thing is, when you're receiving the ball from that position, or you're coming in, the way you think about the game is different than when you're in the 10 position, coming back to receive the ball. Or, these are different things. It changes how you perceive, because football is not just a game of like, there's like intricacies in it. and those
I don't
intricacies
wanna.
change depending on where you are on the pitch. This is why I feel like he's not looked
Yeah.
as
When
as
you're
dangerous as
The
he
thing
was
is,
last year.
the thing, what I'll say is, I can't like make decisions on how players think and be like, oh, because you're here now you have to. But what I have noticed every single time, even one of his
exactly Mo
most
Beta.
memorable goals for us, for like even this season, is him running from the right half space. If Jackson turns with the ball, what does he do? He makes a late run and he runs in behind. Like basically, what was it? The Everton game with Brentwaite, where he put him on the floor. He wasn't on the wing. He was in the right half space or whatever. The one against, what is it, Bournemouth, where he was running behind and Jackson found him and then he faked the keeper and then he scored. We're all having fun. We're like, oh, bro, like, yeah, best in the league, you know, he's doing all this. And then once he fell off a cliff, we're like, okay, it must be the system. Even though he's been scoring all these goals, creating such chances, being the first player in the Premier League ever to score like 4 goals in one half. And we're like, okay, yeah, bro, he's back. He's about to tear the league apart. And things just went south. That's the thing. He just fell off. This is the first time he's actually been like had like a proper period where he's been down, and then he doesn't know how to like come up from that. Because you remember the game, what was it, Liverpool, when he played well, then he scored, and we're like, oh, okay, yeah, he's back. And then he was crying at the end, and people were like, oh, bro, he's crying at the end for what? Because like he feels the criticism though. And we can't say like, okay, the system is just making him stand on the right wing where he has fucking shoot from like 50 yards out like it's Ronaldo at 42 or something like that, bro. So that's the thing. For him, he's been in situations where he's one-on-one with the keeper, he fucks it up. He has one chance, he skies it. He does this, he does that. So that's, I'm not saying that like, okay, you're wrong, like, nah, he can't work on the right wing. I'm just saying from the best places we've actually seen him was from that right half space, whether he makes a decision to run in late or get the ball and like size up his man, like you said, like 1v1 and go past him. But the problem with Palmer is that like if we isolate him too much, he doesn't have like the dribbling volume of like these like Doku's and Savinho's to be constantly like switching, doing this and doing that, like on the wing. It's not going to work out for him properly. So I'm not saying like you're wrong. I'm just saying like there's a different dynamic.
I think there is that factor too. Like we gotta also take into consideration he's 20, 21. Cole Palmer, how old are you?
I think 22.
23. Sorry, I totally didn't get that right. He's 23. It's his second ever professional season. Like he set the bar really high, and I think all of us were expecting him to hit the same, expectations, but at the same time it's a new system, new manager, a new position for him to play regularly rather than the right wing. And I mean, listen, I think all of us can say like we were expecting at some point to have some dip in form. Hopefully this is, hopefully this is one of his worst seasons and it's only up and up from here. That's also another thing to keep in mind. He's still a young player. And again, I think sometimes we overanalyze these things, and it's as simple as like he just went through a bad patch of form. I mean, Scott, I don't know what you think about this whole Palmer conversation. I feel like we've had this conversation before about putting him back in the right wing, but also welcome to the show.
Hello. We have, and I would put him back to the right wing for more than just his sake. It's just who I'd then bring in around him to improve the team. The issue of the one thing I don't like having Palmer in the 10 is the one issue I don't like with Palmer being in the 10, and this is a way that Maresca uses his system, is the 10s drop so deep into our half to pick the ball up. I hate that. Like, because you just mean that they're like, because our 10s are our most creative players, and they're the ones you want on the ball the most. I don't want them on the ball in our box, in like the spots that the right back or the right centre back should be picking up, or the midfielders should be picking up, like the central midfielders. I mean, like, yeah, I don't want him there. I just don't want him there. It was when I was watching what game was it? It wasn't Leicester. There was a game when it was him and fucking Felix kept picking the ball up in those areas, and it was like, what was the point? Actually, no, I think it wasn't him. It was Felix and Nkunku. It was Newcastle, I think, in the cup. And I kept seeing them pick the ball up in those deep positions. I'm like, what's the point? Like, there's no point these guys picking the ball up there, because who are they passing to, number one? Because you just had one of the attacking players come out of the attack to pick the ball up. So it's one less player in the attack to pass the ball to. So who are they passing the ball to? Or how are they beating 4 guys on dribble to get to the position they should have been in if you hadn't have got them to pick the ball up? That's the issue I have with them in the 10, over playing on the wing. But like I said, I'd play him there for a few reasons. Number one, just to try it, see if it works in the system. Number two, because I want to see us bring in Rodgers at the 10. I think he'd be a much better option in this system. Actually, even I'd play him on the wing rather than some of the guys we've been linked with. Yeah, I think I just prefer that than what we've been linked with. I think it would work. Obviously, they know each other and knows the team or some of the players from City. It's a City academy player I can actually get behind. Because we've seen the level he's performed at in the Premier League. So I'd just go and get him.
No, I think that's fair. I mean, that's another thing to consider too. Like, if we were to get a Morgan Rogers, which we are linked with, I don't think Morgan Rogers comes to Chelsea to sit on the bench. I think he has to play, and you could potentially play him in the 10 and Palmer in the right. And we just saw this season, Rogers had a great season as a 10 for Villa. Like, he's been fantastic, so he's familiar with that. Not to say, Palmer can't do it, but he's familiar with it. And, just put Palmer back in that right wing where he's kind of made his stamp on the Premier League last season. I would like it, but we'll see. I think at that game against Seville, Betis. Sorry, that game against Betis kind of gave me an inkling, like, okay, we could potentially see Palmer on the right again, because he was essentially on that right hand side, and it did tell me, like, okay, there's a way that Maresca can be flexible, have him on the right, and we can see like good old Palmer. While you're here, Scott, I mean, I don't know if CJ's back, but while you're here, Scott, might as well ask you your thoughts on Maignan, the EKETIKE situation, and, Delap has finally been announced.
I'm glad Delap's finally been announced. I'm glad to have just got something done before the Club World Cup. EKETIKE, I don't particularly care at this point. Like, it sucks, because I was watching a comp of his the other day, and like, I really like the player.
The price, right?
It's just the price, and I don't think my issue is, right, because he reminds me a lot of Jackson, just slightly better in certain areas, slightly worse in others.
More fluid.
Definitely, but I think my issue with EKETIKE is not him as a player. I don't like the price, but it's not him as a player. It's the fact that we spent the entire season complaining about our striker and what even though he offers this, he's not offering this, and this is the more important thing. We haven't fixed that by getting EKETIKE. Like, he's not more clinical than Jackson. There are a lot of things he's better at than Jackson. Dribbling, definitely. I think his first touch is better. I think his ability to drift off of players is better, and stuff like that. The one thing I don't think he's really better at is finishing, and statistically, it's the same. And even from watching on the eye, it's the same. The positioning is better. It's the one thing. So you should get in better positions to finish than Jackson was getting in.
Yeah.
But that's the issue I have, is just that it doesn't fix the heading issue. It doesn't fix the aerial threat issue, and it doesn't fix the clinicality issue. Everything else I like. It's just those two issues we've still got in the team, theoretically speaking, at least.
Yeah.
Obviously we haven't seen him play. And the price, as I said, and from all reports or from the looks of it looks like Frankfurt aren't budging at all, which I don't expect them to. Like, this is part of the course with them. It's what they've done before, and they'll do it again. So yeah, that's my thoughts on him. Maignan, I want, it wasn't someone I thought we'd get, but it's someone I wanted for years. Like, I remember having debates with people when he was the third best keeper at worst in the world. Sorry, the year they won the league title 2-3 years ago. So yes, I'd want him. I think I'm not going to lose my head yet on the whole bidding on the low balling thing, because these sporting directors have shown a history of low balling for certain players.
You expected it?
Not necessarily. I didn't expect 8 million. That's disgraceful. Like that's genuinely a slap in the face.
Yeah.
That's a spit in the face for someone that you're talking about. If he gets back to the level he was at his best free keepers in the league, he comes into this league and immediately is at worst best 5.
I
Like
think
he's immediately
it's
top 5
bad.
keepers in the league.
Yeah. So Scott, do you agree with the argument that if you think he's that good, shouldn't you just be paying the 25 mil straight away?
I see both sides because I would just pay it, but then you do set a precedence of just being willing. Like you potentially set a bad precedent of clubs being able to like think you're going to take the first offer that like if they value a player at this, you'll just take it. But at the same time, the way I'd look at it is this: I'm happy for them to do this negotiating thing, but if it comes down to it on Monday or Tuesday, because the window closes on Tuesday, on Monday, if it comes down to it, just slap the money on the table. Like this is 25 million for a incredible. Like even at his worst, he's still much better than what we have outside of Petrovic. Maybe, but like we haven't seen Petrovic in this team since the Strasbourg thing, so we don't know if it translates as much as I like him. See, I would pay it, but I'm happy for them to do the negotiating thing at the moment. The thing I don't want,
might as well, you know, give
the
it
thing
a
I
shot.
don't want them to do, which I don't think they will do, but the thing I don't want them to do is the stupid bullshit they did with Caicedo and Enzo, where they kept lowballing, and then overpaid.
Make it last throughout the whole entire window.
Well, they can't. They've got till next Tuesday. That's when they've got to. If they want this done before the club World Cup. So
yeah,
like I don't. That's what I don't want to do. Like I don't think they will because it's different money, but I don't want them to like haggle this like 8 million, then shit their pants because someone else comes in and go, "Oh, we'll pay you 40," because that's what they did with Caicedo.
With the question about negotiation, I question the validity of that because I feel like if you're talking about a person like Ekitike, if we just said, okay, fuck it, there's 80 mil straight, I feel like that argument would be valid there. I think if you're saying this guy is such a high, you know, floor raiser for Chelsea, and he's like literally just a few years ago was like world class, and he probably might return to that level, then 25 mil for him because he's got a year, I don't think that's a bad deal. Like I feel like that's okay. Like we're saying this is one of the best keepers in the world, literally. Like maybe he's not top 3, but he's probably top 5. So 25 mil for him is not terrible.
No, I get you, but like the best way I can describe it is like when you go into a shop, right, or when you go like whenever you go to buy something, you never want to pay what it's worth, even if you know that what it's worth isn't what it's worth. Like it's worth a lot more. You never want to pay what it's advertised as. So like you'll go in there trying to get the best offer for you. So that I understand. That's why I'm like, you want to do this haggling thing and negotiating, cool. Because if you can get him, for, let's say 15 million, you've got him for an even bigger bargain than I think you're currently getting him for. That's fantastic. But my thing is, my thing is, if that's fine doing that, but then don't let it get to a point where they go, no, it's 25 million or nothing, and you just go, nah. Because to me, that's like, that's worst case scenario for me, of like just saying nah. And we do still have Petrovic, and that's why it's not most annoying. I think the most annoying thing for me, I think the most annoying thing for me if we don't get him is it will show more incompetence for these sporting directors. It's just another layer of their incompetence.
Another flub deal.
It's the biggest thing.
That's all it is. The scary thing will be that I feel like United could do with a keeper, and
they could, but like
this would be
they're focusing on other targets. I think that's at the moment that's the thing that like is okay in terms of like
people are focusing on goalkeepers.
The reason I made a point in that is because I feel like this is such a like it's like if we're really saying this guy's the level we're saying this is a steal. I feel like this is a steal price. Like,
I think it is as well, but like that's I do
still price.
It is, but
it's
you're still
like,
gonna negotiate. You know what I mean? Like it's like Scott said. I just used the car analogy. Scott used the shop. Like if you're 9 times out of 10, these guys put up a price that is over the price they actually want. So it's just meeting in the middle. Like you know. It's how I purchased my car that I just purchased right now. Like they wanted like 11 grand. I offered 10. We met in the middle, kind of thing. You know, like it's a way to save some money, especially with how delicate this whole FFP situation is and PSR and all this bullshit. Like every penny counts.
I think we just have to hope that nobody else comes in for him. That's the
And that's the thing
then
too. Like, we're in a
if
market
somebody
right
comes in
now
for him,
where
then yeah, it's terrible.
we're in a market right now where not many people
Yeah,
are
I
looking for
think
goalkeepers.
that's the thing. I think there are a few teams I think would be looking, but
Yeah.
they're either looking at other targets in terms of targets, or they're looking at other
Yeah.
targets in terms of other positions. Like, well, Villa need a keeper because
Yeah,
once
exactly.
Martinez leaves, they have none. They literally have no keepers once Martinez leaves.
Yeah.
Sanchez is available.
Jesus Christ. Hopefully we sell him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Once what's it called? Once Martinez leaves, they might be in the market for a keeper, or they will be in the market
Yeah.
for a keeper. Looks like they're losing out on Garcia. He's going to be a bench warmer over at Barcelona. So there's that. I think Newcastle are looking for a keeper, but I don't think it's a number one. It looks like it's a backup to Pope, who could potentially take over in a couple of years' time. United obviously need a keeper, but they're looking at Milinkovic-Savic, funnily enough, who Milan also wants to replace Maignan. That's the only real big teams I can think of. Yeah, that's the only real big teams I can think of that are looking for a starting level keeper. Like Juve, I don't actually know who Juve have got. Perrin, I think. The issue the issue that we have from because I keep seeing people talk about if he doesn't come in, then you just go in and get him on a pre-contract, or you just wait 12 months. In 12 months' time, he is going to have a list of suitors if he leaves on a free. So if this is the guy you want, you need to get this done now, or get this done literally as soon as possible. Because if you wait till next summer when he leaves on a free, he is going to have a long list of suitors.
Just based off of the fact that he has the ability to pass the ball and actually like control the ball, and like he's good on the ball. Like, I think it's a layup. And they were talking about getting rid of Sanchez. Bro, this is everything we want. Like, if you get him and you sell off Sanchez, like, I'm happy in that department, and we'll be good for a while. Go ahead, Kalis, and then I gotta wrap it up.
Yeah, I'm saying, like, I do think we actually get him, because the person that's negotiating is Iqbali, so we might have another fist fight part 2, but we do get him. And then over what is it, EKETIKE, I think like we are gonna get him before Gittins, because I heard Spurs are also in for Gittins, so we might be like, okay, we'll wait and see at the end of the window and all of this, because the 30 million and that. But yeah, I do think we actually do get them.
Yeah. Javon, I'm actually just about to wrap up because I gotta eat something and then I gotta go to band practice. But yeah, big up, guys. I think this is a pretty good conversation. Obviously, tomorrow, me, Scott, and a few other people on the panel will be back to talk about the Casually Chelsea, the transfers and stuff. We'll be talking more in depth and having more of a panel discussion like you guys enjoy. So stay tuned for that. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. Hit the bell notification so you know whenever we do go live. Be sure to check out the links in the description below for everyone's content. Smash up the like button if you haven't done so already. Also, leave a comment. Let us know your thoughts on everything we talked about today. Ekitike, Delap finally being announced, and the Maignan situation. Do you think Chelsea are stupid for even negotiating? Should they have just paid flat out the price? Let us know down below in the comments. And last but not least, check out the memberships. 4 different tiers starting at 99p. Be sure to check those out as you get emojis that come with it. I am going to be updating emojis eventually over the summer, so be on the lookout for that. Be on the lookout for Club World Cup content as well. We will be here talking about that, as well as vlogs and all that fun stuff. I'll be working on that. Don't worry, guys. But yeah, if you are a member, the proper casual and higher tier members get shout outs in the end of every show, and that's going to go out to Daniel, TM127, EE, Dark Agent, and A Solomon. Big up to you guys. I appreciate all the help that you guys gave us, as well as the help from everyone else that is a member. Big up to you guys, especially those who are in the Cement Mixer Gang level. That means you've been here for over a year. Big up to the loyal ones there. But yeah, we're going to raid out to the Bridge Nation. He's doing transfer news, which I'm sure you guys are going to be interested in hearing. And you got RSM, Joey, and Ahmed over there. So Ahmed's Durag. Hopefully you find your home over there. All right. But big up to you guys. Have a good one. I'll catch you tomorrow for the Casually Chelsea stream. And as always, stay casual. Peace.
All right.